This is Jen, and I'm here with Tom Schreck, who has kindly agreed to be my guinea pig for my first video interview. And we're going to talk about Tom and his Duffy Dombrowski series. So, thanks, Tom.
Well, it's great to be here. I think part of it is he finds the wrong women, I think, but that is more of just as exemplifies some of Duffy's issues. I don't think he's completely whole yet as a man and knows what he wants in terms of a relationship. So I think part of it is he finds the wrong women, but it's also because of what's going on inside of him too. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with those two. I really don't. I think there's something there that both of them haven't quite admitted to yet, but I think we'll see Duffy and Trina perhaps again. Well, you know, that's kind of one of those things that, as a writer, you kind of fantasize about. Who would play Duffy? Well, I've had this discussion with people. I would prefer the 1980s or early 1990s Mickey Rourke, but he's not available. Sometimes I think Vincent D'Onofrio from Law and Order: Criminal Intent, if he was a little bit younger and a little bit better shape. And when I think practically, if there was going to be a movie or a TV thing, somebody like Adam Sandler, who I'm not a huge fan of, nor do I think he looks like Duffy, but he's both athletic and can do a little bit of comedy. So I don't know how I feel about. I guess if I had my druthers, the young Mickey Rourke. You know, the thing is, the two Jerrys exist. I see them a couple times a week. So it's really hard to cast them, unless I ask Jerry and Jerry to get, you know, actors' credentials or something. So I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that one. Well, the Schlitz actually never really went away. The new Schlitz, the new formula, has came out since Duffy's been introduced. Schlitz, there was one time in the mid-'90s, Men's Health ran a thing on the best tasting domestic beer, and they said it was Schlitz, which I couldn't believe. So I went out and bought a six-pack of Schlitz, and I was surprised how good it was. Then it kind of went downhill. And I just think the alliteration of Schlitz and being a different beer was a good thing for Duffy to drink. Do I drink it? I used to. I drink it when I'm in the Midwest because you can get the old formula of it. But don't hold a gun to my head and make me drink Schlitz because it's really not all that great. Bourbon, I have been known on occasion to have a bourbon in the strictest of moderation. I don't know how much is a time that I like to write, but I write. My wife gets up at 4:30 in the morning. I walk the dogs at about 5 in the morning. I have to be to my day job somewhere between 8:30 and 9. So I have an hour and a half window somewhere around 6 in the morning, from 6 to 7:30 or so. I write at my dining room table. I used to have kind of a cool home office, but that's in the basement, and my 3 dogs object to the fact that I'm not in the room with them. So my writing is sitting at the dining room table, interrupted every minute and a half by a dog that wants to go outside or come back inside or have a treat or yell at the other dogs. So what I find is if I stay at the dining room table and they're satisfied, they're more likely to settle down. So I write at the dining room table somewhere between 6 and 7:30 in the morning. I'm not good at night because I'm kind of worn out. Saturdays and Sundays I'll write mid-morning. And I actually I work on a suicide hotline as a volunteer, and so sometimes I'll go there, there's no dogs there, and if people aren't too depressed, I can write from there. Joe is great. Joe contacted me and asked if I want to do a short story together, and I said absolutely, with our characters. He threw out a hypothetical plot line and said, why don't you write 1,500 words, and then send it to me, and I'll do it. And we did that back and forth over a period of like 6 days. And we went in places I didn't think we were going to go. And what's interesting is he wrote some of the Duffy parts, and I wrote some of the Jack Daniels parts, which was kind of neat. It felt a little weird reading somebody writing a Duffy scene that I didn't write. But he was good, and he got most of it. So I loved it. It was a great process. I would love to do more of it. I'd love for Robert B. Parker to call me and have Duffy and Spencer do some sparring or something. I don't know if that's going to happen real soon, but I really enjoyed it. I'd do another one with Joe. It was a fun process. There's David Handler used to write a amateur detective series, and his character had a basset hound, and I was thinking of writing a basset, see if I could get him to write another one with me to benefit Basset Hound Rescue. He doesn't write the Lulu's. Lulu was the Basset Hound, and Lulu's female, and Al is male, so maybe they could hook up or something like that. Yeah, I write for, there's a regional magazine in New York called Hudson Valley Magazine, and then there's Westchester Magazine. And I pitched them a story, first on diners, and I did a story on the old school diners in the Northeast. And then as a follow-up, I did it on drive-in movie theaters. And actually, there's kind of a whole cult of people who still love drive-in movie theaters and go to them all the time. And there's far fewer, but they're very, very popular. And so I had, when I was in high school, I used to go to the drive-ins all the time, and so I had a great kick doing that. I kind of like nostalgic things, so if I did something on diners, I did something on drive-ins. I would love to do something on old school barbershops, although I can't get anybody to look into that. So anything, that kind of stuff, I'd love to explore.
First, what's your favorite word?
I think my favorite word is rhythm. That's the one that seems to come up a lot in my writing. I talk about rhythm. I can never spell it. I know there's a Y and a TH in there, but I like the word rhythm and the way it sounds, and I like the idea of everything in life having different rhythms.
Okay, how about your least favorite word?
Retard.
Okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
The things that make me feel most alive, where my mind kind of leaves and gets into a new level of focus, are writing, and that's all kinds of writing. What might sound like, I once had to do an article on cell phones, but it was a challenge to write it, and I love that level of concentration. Sparring in boxing, where I get in the ring with somebody else, again, something that keeps me very much in focus. And those two things, ironically, in lots of ways have create a similar mindset for me. I also I teach college courses, and when I teach like counseling and helping courses, and when I get students who wouldn't typically be into that sort of thing really start to get it and learn how to help somebody else, that's a rush for me.
Okay. What turns you off?
Arrogant people.
Favorite curse word?
Mother effer.
Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
Love? I love the sound of a bloodhound or basset hound baying.
Except at 3 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
The sound of my bloodhound rattling the gate that leads out of my living room.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I'd like to be a psychiatrist.
Okay. What profession would you not like to do?
Undertaker.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you appear at the pearly gates?
I guess the first thing would be, come on in. And the second thing would be, your dad is waiting on the porch with your dog Buddy and Agnes, your cats Elvis, Wheezy, and Jed, and they're all sitting there talking to Elvis Presley.
Great. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for having me.